So, Drewski, the comedian, has made, and this is not his first time doing this, but has made another, what some may call controversial skit. Drewski is a comedian known for his skits, and Drewski has made a controversial skit that a lot of people are saying has gone viral. A lot of people pointing out the fact that this skit has gone viral because Drewski was wearing what they call nowadays whiteface. Okay, where Drewski had a makeup artist cover his body, make him look like he was a Caucasian. Okay, he wore the wig, he had fake tattoos, and he was at a NASCAR event. And as he was at a NASCAR event, a lot of people was all, he was doing stereotypical Caucasian things that they do at the NASCAR event. So this got millions. I'm talking about dozens of millions, tens, like it's gotten probably about 100 million if you calculate all of the videos separately. Probably about 100 million views on Twitter alone. All right. And a lot of people are all like, well, now if a black person does that to a white face, that's okay and that's funny. But if a white person does it, if we do it to black people, then it's a problem. So it's a whole lot of YT folks who are out here. They're crying. They're talking about, oh, that's not fair. We can't do that to them. So why could they be able to do that to us? It's not right. It's not fair. All of this stuff, ignoring really the context of blackface and what makes blackface in particular so offensive and disrespectful. Okay, just completely ignoring that. Now they're acting like they're triggered because they feel like, well, if I can't do that to y'all, why should y'all be able to do that to me? Okay, and I want to clear this up for everybody, and I want to see if we even have some YT people in the room because y'all been coming in here lately anyway. So if y'all got something to say, then this is the time to say. We're not gonna be on too long. It's already kind of late, and I gotta be up in the morning. So I just want to, get a quick live in, tap in with the TikTok family real quick. So BX, can you set the decorum in the room, and then we'll get started.
Sure. So when you request up and you're allowed on the panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. Once directed to speak, please lead with your ethnic group and if you're over 18. If you're the type that doesn't like to tell your age, we get it. Just state that you're over 18. We don't do pronouns here unless you want to volunteer that, but that's not a requirement. I ask that you use TikTok-friendly language on the panel and in the chat, and what you are not sure to is accurate or not or TikTok friendly, spell out, we'll get it. So you use words like Mary Jane, hard candy, schmurder, grape, strange fruit, so on and so forth. Sorry. If you see that, you're going to see that orange heart. Sorry, I got a message. Orange heart by Afro Elite's name. Click that orange heart and complete the daily mission to help them with the algorithm and improve the rankings. Also, claim your points so that you can, accelerate in your fan journey. They unlock cool little stickers and stuff to use in the chat. So I'm going to touch on ethnic groups and what that means, right? So my ethnic group is African American / Black American, but I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What that means is that my ancestors can be found on a United States of America census in 1870 because they were here for our emancipation period of 1863 through 1865. We understand not everybody's, please mute Shine. We understand that not everybody's ancestors were enslaved. So we're just standing on the date of our emancipation period and that that census that qualifies you for being a Black American. If your ancestors do not fit that criteria at all, you are not a Black American, an African American, nor should you identify as a foundational Black American. You are your country of origin or your parents' country of origin, sometimes your grandparents' country of origin. So if you have two grandparents who migrated from, let's say, Haiti, then you are Haitian American. If your parents migrated from Jamaica, Jamaican American, Trinidadian American, St. Lucian American, Nigerian American, Eritrea American, let me see, there's Mauritania American, so on and so forth. If you are a first or second generationer, we're not saying you wasn't born in America, you're just not an American or a black American. You are a citizen of the United States and you are your parents' country of origin. Please be honest because this helps us gauge how you are thinking and kind of help you not cause an erasure to our ethnic group, our lineage. I think I'll end there. Go ahead, Afro.
All right. So the thing is that what makes blackface so offensive is the history of it. Okay, the history of blackface started with right after slavery, where where you had white people used to put black paint and makeup on their face, and they used to imitate they knew they used to imitate black people, and they used to make a mockery of black people. They would do that to denigrate black society. They would do that to dehumanize black people. And the thing is that these jokes ultimately resulted in real life consequences, ultimately resulted in something very dangerous. Okay, these when they have done jokes, if we understand the triple K, they started as a joke. All of these things, birth of a nation and stuff like that, that resulted in anti-black laws and policies and crimes and things of the sort, started as jokes. So blackface in America started as a joke to dehumanize black society, and then next thing you know, once that became popularized and socialized, that became um, the jokes begat the laws and the policies and things going forward. Okay, so the history is what makes blackface racist. The history is what makes blackface um inappropriate. Okay, there is not the same thing. You can't strip the history away and say, well, whiteface and blackface are the same thing. You can't do that. Okay, because the history of YT people in this country is different from the history of black people in this country. Black people have not done whiteface in a way to denigrate YT society, and then next thing you know is a whole bunch of laws and legislations and Jim Crow and stuff like that that follows up with that. Okay, when a black person tells a joke, there's no negative follow up with that joke. But when they tell a joke on our expense, there's a negative follow up. So the history is very different. Okay. So I just want to get that out the way. Let's get to. It seems like we got a couple people who want to say something about it. I think Shine was here first, and then we'll get Black Royal Beauty.
One moment, because unbelievable is that unbelievable? He was
Yeah.
like the app kicked him out, and then you just let him back up on the panel. So he got kicked out the app, and
You
then
gotta
came
mute
back
your
to get his
mic.
space.
Gotta mute your mic. Okay, we'll go with
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable then.
Okay, thank you.
Unbelievable. You can. You got it.
Okay, yeah. My name is Manny. I'm from Atlanta. 34 years old, Black American.
All right.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
As far as the skit go, man, that skit was hilarious. Man, I was cracking up the whole time, and I don't see why they so mad about it. What's his name? Theo Von talking about I feel a Jerry curl coming on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. That's one. That's when I
It's
saw that. That's where I'm all like, yeah. Let me say something on that. Yeah, I saw him say
I,
that. Yeah.
you see, and then like you were saying, like they used to do these blackface. They still do blackface festivals in certain countries, like to push stereotypes and push negative stereotypes on black people. Like we don't speak correct English, we don't know how to talk, we clumsy, and all kind of goofy stuff. Like they just use that as a talking point to try to mask their racism when
Mm-hmm.
they know good and well that whiteface what Druski did is in the name of fun, and what they do is it have long term effects and still has effects to this day. And
Yes.
you can't equate the two things; they not the same.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And in a way, they still kind of do negative stereotypical things where they'll make a movie and they'll portray the black man and the black woman in a very stereotypical fashion, and in comparison to their community or other communities and stuff like that. So it's still a lot of that. Now they can't get away with it like they used to. So of course they don't openly wear blackface because they already understand that they can't get away with that like how they used to in the past. But they still try to they still try to do that as much as they can, you know? And so the history is what makes it different. Okay. Because nothing negative to their community is going to happen with this. Now, vice versa is going to be a different story.
I was gonna say,
Hold on. I'm gonna let you speak, but we got to go in order, right? All right. So let's get to Shine. You got it. Have you spoken? I don't know, Shine, if you're what your ethnicity is.
An American. I haven't spoken yet. Thank you for having me on. It's my first time actually being live on TikTok. I want to say that I respectfully disagree. I disagree. I don't think that it actually matters whether or not it is the same or whether or not it is different. I think what matters ultimately is if it's offensive. And you can't put yourself into the perspective of someone else and then say it shouldn't be offensive because it's not the same as what they did to us. I find it to be extremely rich and extremely hypocritical that us as African Americans can't put ourselves in the lens of these people and see what is called racism. It is racist for you to dress up as a different demographic of individual and do that whether comical or to do that in a maliceful way. It is offensive. And for you to disregard someone else's ability to be offended is to say that it's okay for you to do it. Like, how are we going to then set a moral standard to say, we don't want you to do this, it's offensive to us, but we don't give a fuck how you feel what we do?
With the language, let's be PG because we don't want TikTok to take us down. So we got to be codified. But I'm gonna let you finish though. I'm gonna let you
No, no,
finish.
no. That's all I had to say. Respectfully, I apologize for cursing.
Okay. Where'd you say you were from again? Where's your lineage from?
What do you mean by that?
Because some people claim to be like African American, but they're like first generation Angolan or they're first generation Somalian and things like that. Like when I say that, are you a descendant of American chattel slavery?
Yes, sir. I'm from
Okay.
Seattle, Washington. My parents' lineage is from Mississippi.
All right, cool. Okay. All right. I'm just saying because we haven't spoken before. The thing is that I don't think I was saying or anybody has said yet that this isn't quote unquote offensive. A lot of jokes and a lot of comedians make offensive things, but what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna sit up there and equate them being offended by whiteface to us being offended by blackface. We can't make that. We can't. That's very disingenuous to make that comparison. Okay, because
That
hold on,
making that
because hold
comparison.
on, brother, hold on. Let me just say what I gotta say. We're gonna have a dialogue. Because there's no real effect when they get offended. They just get offended. When things that are jokes that are made about us, there's a follow up. There's a negative follow up. Okay, there was a negative follow-up to minstrel shows in America. And first off, Drewski is not the first comedian to do this either. So Dave Chappelle has done this a couple of times even. I think there was another another comedian who's done that as well too. So when quote unquote whiteface is done, there's no negative follow-up to their Eddie Murphy, thank you. There's no negative follow-up to their community. Okay, unlike how that there's a negative follow-up to our community. So we can't say that, well, if I'm offended and you're offended, it's the same. Okay, because it's not the same. I'm not here to make the argument that they are not offended. Yes, they're offended. They're saying they're offended. But I'm saying that what we're not gonna do is, because what they're trying to do is make this an equivalence to blackface, and it's not an equivalence to blackface, because there's what would make it the equivalence is that there would be a history of negativity that follows up with jokes like this, and that only happens to our community. That doesn't happen on their behalf. You know what I'm saying?
I would once again have to say that I disagree. I don't
You're a
believe.
little muted. You're a little muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I would have to say that I disagree. I don't believe that it matters whether or not you're saying that they shouldn't be offended because there was no offense. Who are you to say
I
whether or
didn't
not?
say there was no
Hold on,
offense.
don't cut me off. You told me not to cut you off. I
First off,
respectfully.
I'm the host. You need to relax yourself.
It doesn't matter if we're
But
having a
because you're
dialogue.
misspeak-
You
you're-
shouldn't
you're
be able to cut
misquoting
me
me.
off. How
You're
am I
misquoting
misquoting
me.
you?
Don't misquote me, brother. Go
I'm not
ahead.
misquoting you. You said that they should not have any offense.
No, I
There's
did
no-
not. The chat room, there's over 100 people in here. Did I say that? I didn't say that. Don't misquote me, dude.
Quote it. Say
We
what
can
you
have
said,
a
sir.
we can
Say-
have
say
a
what
good
you-
dialogue.
repeat it. Okay,
but
it's not
don't
necessary
misquote
for you to give us all the backlog of what you did. Just say what you said then if you're saying I didn't say that.
I said that nobody is making the argument that they're not offended. What I'm saying is that they're trying to make the point that this is the equivalent of blackface, and it's not. That's what I said.
And you didn't say that they have no reason to be offended. You didn't say that.
No.
Absolutely not.
What I'm saying is that there's no equivalent. They're trying to make it seem like there's an equivalent. This is not the equivalent.
I agree. It's not the equivalent of blackface, but that's not to say that it's not offensive. And for you to disregard someone else's offense and them being offended in a situation is disrespectful. And
Okay,
it's
hold
very-
on, mute. He said, I'm not saying there wasn't an offense.
He doesn't
but
need help.
Wait, hold
No
on,
one asked you.
sir.
No one asked you
See,
to
I'm
help.
not, okay,
These
good. No one asked you to keep talking when I said mute up.
grown
I
men, and I'm
asked
pretty
you to
sure.
mute up because now
brother,
your
brother,
response,
relax. Brother, relax. We're gonna get to you.
makes me want to ask you this question.
You don't have to tell me to relax. I'm very relaxed.
Okay,
You're
brother.
not.
This is the mod of the room to make sure there's order in the room. She's just gonna say something real quick. We're gonna get to you, man, and then we're gonna get to other people.
And then we're
going
going to move on. Because you're
dialogue. You
centering
don't gotta do
yourself
all
and you're
that.
being a distraction. You're up here to be a contrarian. So, what he said was there is no. We're not saying there was no offense, right? Some were offended. However, what we're not going to do is act like it's comparable to blackface. Then he went into
So
the
no one's
minstrel
saying that it's
history.
comparable to blackface.
You kind of
Okay.
are saying
Do
that.
you
Kinda,
think-
that is kind of your
Okay,
argument.
Afro,
There's
don't
always
talk.
one
I'm
person.
talking to the host, not you, Black
What do you
Voice.
think?
Remain on mute. I asked him if he
When
believes.
you address me,
See, I'll just get screamed at if I dropped you. Now stop disrupting the panel. I want to
Yeah,
ask the host.
brother,
of
we're
class.
going,
I'm gonna
dude.
ask the
We're
host
going to
a
get to
question.
you, man. You don't got it. Why are you offended?
Right.
You're acting kind of offended
Can I
right now.
respond to
There's
why
no
I'm
need to be
offended?
offended.
So
Nobody is upset
Can
here.
I respond to why I'm offended? You
No,
asked me a
not right now.
question.
Let,
Can I
let,
respond
let me
to
and the
why I'm
mod,
offended?
let the mod ask
Don't
me
ask me a
something,
question
and then
and then don't
gonna
expect me
drop
to
him.
answer it.
Dude, there's a lot
Afro,
of people who haven't spoken
does
yet,
he think
and I'm
that
still
black
trying to have a
people could be
dialogue with you.
racist?
And you're kind of
That's the question I
you're
wanted.
doing too much right
you
now.
to
You're doing
ask
too
him.
much.
I wanted you to ask him if he thinks all people can be racist.
Okay. Do you think that all people can be racist?
Yes, definitely.
What is racism?
Racism is a disdain for a certain group of individuals.
A disdain for a certain, well, no, that's bigotry, and this is why we're going to have to move. This is why we have these conversations. Now, people can be a bigot, you can be a bigot, but you can't be, everybody can't be racist. Everybody can't be that. Racism is a system of power. Okay, it's a system of racial power. All right, everybody does not have the system of racial power. Okay, that allows you to put your race of people on a hierarchy. Racism is a racial hierarchy by definition. Okay. Now, a lot of racists are bigots. That's the truth. But to be honest, you don't have to be a bigot to be racist. You can be a very polite, friendly racist. We have a lot of them today, to be honest. As long as you believe in a
So
racial
what's your
hierarchy,
point? What's your
that
point to
makes
what
you
you're
a
saying? Are
racist.
you not
And
being
right now,
racist? Are you
let me
not
say,
being
let me say what I
racist?
gotta
Are
say.
you not being racist by
No, I'm not. I'm
allowing
talking
and
to another alleged
complimenting
black man.
someone
Calm
for?
down, man. Relax yourself. Let me finish.
Why do you
Okay?
keep telling me to relax? Why do you
Because
feel
you're
the
cutting me
necessity?
off.
I'm
I'm being
relaxed. You haven't
calm, and you're
seen me
seeming
hype.
very
This is me
hostile and
relaxed.
frustrated right now. There's no need for you to be frustrated. All right? You said what you thought racism is, what you said your definition of racism is incorrect. It's incorrect, man. That's just the truth. It's incorrect. Racism is a racial system, a racial hierarchical system. Okay? There is only one racial hierarchical system, and white tea have been at the top of the racial hierarchical system. They're the
So
ones who
what you're so
created it.
what you're trying
That's
to
why we
present is
have
that black
YT,
people
white
can't be
supremacy,
racist, is
man.
what you're saying. You're
You said
saying
what?
black people cannot. So what you're trying to present as an argument is that black people can't be racist.
By definition, yes.
Yeah, that sounds extremely as if you have a woe is me mentality. I don't
No.
believe me. I'm still talking. I don't believe me as a black person cannot have power over another individual. I have power over anyone and everyone I choose to. You
No, you
don't.
don't.
So that's the difference between me and you. No, you don't.
So you
Okay,
have
hold
no
on.
right now.
All of this unnecessary hostility that you're giving. I don't. You're
So when
acting
I
like
when
you're
I
a
when I
little
go to
offended,
prove
and
my
there's no
point,
need
now
to
it's
be offended. So
unnecessary
what we're gonna do?
hostility.
Stop. Calm
You're
down.
using ad
Calm
hominem
down. Hey,
to
calm
prove an
down, dude.
argument
Hey,
that you're
that's enough.
very,
That's enough. That's enough. Because right now it seems
very,
like it's
very
right
morally
now you
intolerant.
seem triggered. Stop it. Stop.
Is our community, and this is my problem, and this is my disdain
He
with
doesn't
our
look like
Hold
he's
on.
talking
Just
to
let
you.
him.
you're
Let him
very
rant. Let him
morally
rant.
incorrect.
He probably
You want
got.
everyone.
Let him. Dude. Calm down. We gon' This guy got a white boyfriend or something like that, and he's a little offended. It's okay. Hey, do what you want to do, but don't sit up there and act like this is the equivalent of blackface. Let's not. We ain't gonna do that, man. Calm down. All right. Come on. Did you? And you saw how we were explaining it. He was just so upset. No. I'm like, man, we ain't gonna do that. We're not doing that tonight. Not tonight, man. Not
I'm
tonight.
sorry, Afro. I didn't pay attention to the Drewski story. Can you tell me why Drewski did it? Was it an experiment for
It
a
was
show?
it was a skit. There was a
Mhm.
NASCAR event, and Drewski's he dressed up for the skit just to, I guess, to see how well it would work. And then he went to the NASCAR event. He was drinking beer and acting kind of like stereotypical, like how they would act. Like, yeah, love America, God bless America, dude. Like he was doing all of that, and the white crowd was loving it, you know. So it was kind of like it was funny. It was funny. It was a skit. It was funny. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So the white tea people weren't as upset as the so-called black man that was just on the panel.
No. Not then. Now I don't know how many people he actually genuinely fooled. He probably fooled a couple of them. Some people probably recognized that this was Druski. He got a camera following him. It's a skit. So they were probably playing along. It was online. Folks was triggered online. This man is acting triggered. That dude was acting triggered for some reason. Okay. Said it. Okay. Well, all right. But we got a lot of people want to say something now, so I'm gonna have to extend the panel. But let's get to. I appreciate y'all patience. I know it's late. I know y'all want to say something. So let's get to Black Royal Beauty.
Well, if they were triggered, good. That's all I can say about that because I mean, right now, they passing laws to put back segregation, which is all right with me. Um, Somehow we have got exiled. China has taken over, and we are the little place by ourselves. They've taken how many jobs from black women and have given them to white men. So honestly, what he did was good, and I hope it brings another wonderful conversation so that we can know what we gonna do. Because right about now, it looked like we had a situation or fight and flee, and I'm not a fleer. I'm ready to fight, but I think we got a fight on our hands, and It's gonna be amongst them people, real tough. So good if their feelings are hurt.
Yeah, it's all right. They can be upset. They not white mommy and daddy. They can be upset. This man is upset on their behalf. That's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. Let them be upset. It's cool. It's cool. They don't ever make no panels talking about something that's upset to us. There's no consequence to this. They're just upset. Tomorrow they'll be okay. They'll be okay tomorrow. For all of y'all with big hearts. No, this is wrong. Okay. But thank you. Let's
You know
get
what
to
I noticed
vibe.
though, man? Them people who be in them multi cultural cities, bro, they always speak up like that.
Mm, I'm a
No,
race hustler,
I'm in a
somebody says.
multicultural
Okay.
city.
We'll
California,
get to you.
Seattle,
I'm in a
all
very
them places, New
multicultural city.
York.
I would
Hold
never
on,
say
but
nothing like that.
I'm not like that. I'm in Chicago. I don't
Okay.
know, but a lot of people who grow up, when they go to diverse high schools and all of that stuff, then yeah, they'll be all like, "No, man, Connor's a good man." They'll do that,
No, you can look at him. You can look at him and tell he always been in the hood. He aspired to be like that. He
Mm-hmm.
was one of them broke hood niggas who aspired to go to school in the suburbs. He aspired to be one of the white boys. You never will. You
Uh-huh.
can look at you and tell. They would never
Mm-hmm.
accept you. You're not even the type of black person that they like. You're not a cool black guy.
Other folk in Chicago. Shout out to my Chicago family in the room. Let's get to vibes. Let me see. Vibes the great.
What's up? First of all, I appreciate you for saying it right. Every other panel is always at BIs, and I'm like, do you know how to read? Anyways, besides that, I appreciate that. Um, all in all, I thought this was the funniest thing ever. It was the most genius thing that it needed to be done in these days and times. And you were 100% right. This is not anything new. This has been done over and over again by multiple comedians, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy. And then I look at it as let's not forget they were praising Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
like let's not forget all of that. And mind you, I honestly like that movie as well. That movie also hit. But overall is like how it was presented. And Drewski presented it in not in a candidate of like he's trying to offend fully anybody, but he was just trying to show you guys in a different lens. Is like, this is how you guys look like. This is the lens that you guys look like. And when they saw their lens, their mirror, looking in their mirror, and they were like, "Oh snap, we feel offended." It's like, why you feel offended? It's like, this is how you look like. It's like, don't don't be offended. Just embrace it. If anything,
Mm-hmm.
like, come on. You tell that. They tell that to us all the time. All the
Yeah.
time.
Yep. They do. It's always they use the word snowflake and the claim we so sensitive and we can't take a joke and we're offended by everything. The same people who are going on a damn tirade about this skit right here are the same people who will tell us that we need to stop being offended over everything.
Yeah,
A
that's
thousand
what exactly
percent.
why they're doing that. Like white people are petty. This is just another issue for them to go tit for tat with us. They would never give us the credence or the moral authority on any issue. So it's
A
up to
thousand
us to
percent.
not care about them or their opinions. We're happy they're offended. You're upset. We're upset. How about that?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna chime in really quick. So I appreciate Drewski for doing that skit. It was a complete depiction of living in the South. Anybody that lives in Texas, Mississippi, anything like that, it was like a very good depiction of what people dealt with in the South. Even now. But he did a great job. I mean, I'm okay with them being offended. I think more creators, TikTokers should show things like this. They always want to, point out the flaws in, African Americans and different other cultures. But let's put y'all on social media and show y'all how y'all act towards different races.
And if
But yeah,
white tea people
overall,
are
I loved
offended,
it.
it's a certain type of white tea person who are offended. Because the white tea people who are not like that aren't offended. It's just the majority of white tea people are exactly like that.
And how they actually are. I mean,
Exactly.
along with showing how y'all actually act towards different races. I mean, primarily people of color. I mean, so if you're upset, just be upset. We're just showing you how y'all are.
And none of these other groups, not even white tea people, like when we put the spotlight on them. But all these other people, they so comfortable with knowing everything about us. Our baby mama rate, our incarceration rate, our divorce rate, our home ownership rate.
But
They don't even
even
know their own stats. So when you
looking
put
at
a
the
highlight
news,
on
they
them, they
always
don't
put
like it. They don't like the spotlight. We get the spotlight all the time.
But
exactly.
okay,
We're always
Internationally.
constantly in
let's
the
We see it
news.
just in
we
America.
gotta
We got
let
the
other
spotlight
people,
internationally.
Detroit brother. We gotta let some other people go ahead because we still got people who want to come up and say something. Plus, we don't have all night to be on here. So I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna let y'all land y'all plane, and then we're gonna move. Okay.
I was gonna say, like, overall, we just gotta understand, like, this was just the most masterful thing in this generation, or right now in our time, but presented in a very, very tasteful way. And if nobody sees it like that, oh well, FM.
It is what it is. Yeah, we're
Exactly.
not gonna coddle their feelings. They be the first ones to talk about how we need to stop getting over stuff. We
Exactly.
need to stop being so
No, we
sensitive.
over stuff. Can I get a voice? Am
Hold on,
I
hold
in
on,
here?
hold on. Yeah, yeah,
We
you're in
over
here.
stuff. We
Yeah,
over stuff.
but
We
yeah,
over
that's
that.
true. Okay, but
I
hold on for a
accept and
second.
understand your opinion, but we over stuff.
That's true. Okay, let's get to Sport Lee.
I'm listening.
No, yeah, I'm on FBA. I'm from Louisiana, and I said, cause I'm from down south for real. And to be real, from me looking at it, Drewski wasn't being racist. It's a NASCAR event, right? So I feel like he really just depicting the NASCAR as far as a white boy going in now. Because he did another one when he was at a football game at in Alabama where you were like, Bama boy with the dude, he kind of famous. But yeah, Druski blew the white T dude up, off their skit. But this time he got to portray himself as being white T. But this time he like he focused more so on the NASCAR, and the only part of the skit that anybody I feel like would get offended by was when he was driving in the car and then black dude walking in, and then he was like, "Where you going, boy?" You know what I'm saying? If you got offended, either you want to do that or you do that and you don't want to get caught. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, everybody I feel like that number ain't too big. So the hype ain't that. But for somebody who say they FBA to take offense to that, that ah
Hmm.
tether alert. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
it's
I
some
land
beyond
with
that.
that, bro.
Because I mean, when I explained it, he was like, you can't say that they can't get offended." I'm like, I mean, I can't tell what people are offended by. I mean, I suppose it is offensive, but I do understand comedy. I understand comedy is offensive. Somebody's gonna be made fun of. It's a joke. He's a comedian. Comedians make jokes. Okay, the thing is that we're not going to sit up there and act like all jokes have the same consequence to it. That's the thing. That's the point of the matter, is that blackface has a consequence to it. This doesn't have a consequence. Some people may like it, some people may dislike it, but tomorrow they're going to go about their life the same way as if this never happened. Unlike blackface, that was not the reality. So we can't act like that's the same thing. We can't do that. Let's get to Drew. Drew Phillips, you got it.
All right. uh, I'm also from Chicago, so I want to say shout out to all my folks from Chicago.
Sir.
I think it's important that we be honest about what it was. It was just comedy. See, we're living in a time now where people are offended by everything, but But we all know, at least, for those of us that are over the age of 35, most of the comedy that's really funny is at least a little bit offensive and it's a little bit true. That's why we laugh so hard. And if someone is offended by that, you know what? F their feelings. Y'all, they just got to get over it. But the sad part is people now, if their little feelings is hurt, they try to cancel you.
Mm-hmm.
But the best thing about it, Drewski's core fan base is black. So he ain't got to worry about that. Because, we just look at it as something being funny. If y'all remember the movie White Chicks, that whole movie was in whiteface. That whole movie.
True. Very true.
And what nobody's feelings hurt. The only difference was that was 20 years ago.
Yep.
Now we're living in a time where everybody's offended by something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tell them to get over that.
It's a crowd of people. These are like the super alt-right folk who want there to be some type of equivalent, there to be some reverse racism. So they look and they get triggered by anything and they try to make something like an attack on YT. Is they are, this is reverse racism. That's what I'm hearing a lot of people say. No, it's not. No, y'all the butt of the joke. It's okay. Y'all gonna be okay. Nobody's gonna harm you. Unlike us, because when we become the butt of the joke, people come to harm us. So yeah, we got an issue with being the butt of the joke. So it's a difference.
I think it's like a weird counterculture kind of thing, is where the other side may present something very bad, where the other side, without knowing or unconsciously knowing, presents something else that counters it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is one of those things that is countering everything that we've been seeing. Like, we've been seeing lots of like white tea people like having all these rules and all of this, and then there's like Druski who puts out this random skit, and it just counters every thought of them. It's like, wait. It's like, we were talking about this. It's like, yeah, but like, look at yourselves in the mirror real quick. You see how stupid you look right now?
Yeah, I can't even say it's that
Let's
deep.
hold on. Before we go, let's get to our good sister Deborah. See what she has to say, and then we'll get to Shoni.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Yes, I don't know why are they upset. See, streaming and all these different media platforms have changed the game, right? I saw somebody said, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the pew pew, right? Okay, so now you know how we feel, and the youngins, as I call you all, you know what? Hey, if it's funny, it's funny. If it's up and it's stuck, it's up and it's stuck, right? So, we're not taking no prisoners. They've had the right to do this to us from generation upon generation, and they're still doing it. So, okay, well, let me serve you a little bit of this humble pie right quick and see how you like it. And yeah, I thought, well, quite frankly, and I'm older, it was hilarious because, they still, how many fraternities you see every year, they're doing that. Oh, but we're supposed to always just suck it up. Well, suck it up. That's how I say, suck it up. With comedy, and you realize, I hope you get back to the old school comedy, Red Fox, even some of the YT comedians that were hilarious. When it's a joke, it's a joke. Comedy is supposed to sting, particularly if you're doing social satire. All this other milquetoast stuff is no good. Let us get back to, if you ever want to hear some, go back and listen, not Fred Sanford, listen to Red Fox. Oh, and his satire, right? He'll have you on the ground crying, or some of the Lenny Bruce, or someone of his ilk. Comedy is supposed to be funny, but it's also supposed to be reflective of what's going on in society, and to have us stop and take a break in laughter and see what's going on. So I land my plane with that. So you're doing an excellent job. You guys keep up the good work. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
BX, they triggered in the chat room, huh? They don't want to come up though. I see.
No, I was Kevin Lee is talking. All I caught was him say, in Africa, blacks are enslaving blacks. So I said, basically, you mean Arabs and Africans are enslaving other Africans, because black Americans are American. And so when you say black, it lumps us in with Africa, but we're not condoning nor participating in that slave trade. So I just want everybody to know that Black Americans are displaced from the continent. They have that ancestry, okay? And Black is not synonymous. There goes Halo, Afro. And Black
Yeah,
is
I know.
not synonymous with Africa. You have to understand we are a reclassified people, and even American Indians were reclassified from American Indian to colored to Negro to Black. Got
But
it?
honestly, what does that have to? They're what they're trying to do is denigrate us because they're
Mhm.
offended. Because let's be honest, that has absolutely nothing to do with this conversation at all.
Nothing at
It ain't got.
all.
It has
Nothing.
absolutely nothing to do with this conversation. They're just saying it. They're just
Right.
making noise. You know, they don't want to come up and say anything because there's really nothing they can say because what they're so used to, they're used to a socialized society where they seem like the default and they seem like the standard. Okay, they're above reproach, and everybody who's outside of their community, every non white T person needs to aspire to be like them. That's why. Okay, and they're used to a society like that. Okay, and then when somebody makes a joke and they're the at the end of the joke, now they want to make it seem like there's some type of equivalent to this in blackface because they feel like they don't have the same socialized standard.
Yeah.
Society does not pedestalize them like they want. Okay, society doesn't pedestalize their community like they want, so that's why they're looking for excuses or reasons or something like that to say they're being attacked, to say people are attacking us and we can't say anything, we can't do anything. Oh, this is woke. Oh, this is anti. That's what they do. Okay, that's that because they're used to being on a pedestal, and now they're starting to see we don't care about this pedestal no more. And you can be the butt of the joke whether you like it or dislike it. And the fact that Drewski made this joke, knowing that it would offend some people, is why they're upset because they see it as Drewski did this, and he didn't care about what they would think. Okay, and that's what makes them so mad is that black people don't care about making y'all mad anymore. That's the thing that makes them upset. Well, that's one of the things because they find a reason to be upset.
My response to that would be like, yes, we don't care, but at the same time, we care to an extent.
Hey Afro, I got my shirt in the mail.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
great.
wear it. I'm gonna showcase it. You know, I'm gonna wear it when I
Mm-hmm.
get a chance to. Yup,
Okay.
I like the
I
shirt.
gotta order something too. And Halo, I don't know what you did on that other
So
page, baby girl,
So now
but
he's saying
I
the
had to get off the
largest
page.
plantation was in Louisiana owned by a Black person. Here's the thing. The United States government and all the institutions that still benefit from slavery today will be paying us reparations at this
Yeah,
point in time. So
yeah.
you could be in the chat talking about associating Black enslavers if you want to, but guess who's paying up? So nix that comment, because this ain't what this is about tonight. Please don't get
Yeah,
bounced. I'm
Kevin.
trying to let
Kevin, don't be a
everybody have a good
snowflake,
time in
dude.
the
Come
chat,
up
but
if you want to say something, Kevin. You
okay.
got a lot to say. You want to say something, Kevin? Come up. Don't be
He's
such a
just trolling. He's
snowflake.
just
What y'all
trolling.
call it?
He's
Okay.
not gonna come up.
All right. Okay. Let's get to Dragon Walk. Halo must have dropped for a second. He says, "Oh, okay, Kevin, want to come up? All right, let's go, Kevin. All right, Kevin. What's on? Oh, Kevin.
And
What?
everybody, please stay on your mute and let Afro
Yeah,
Elite talk. Please ask him his ethnic group, because white
yeah,
people
Kevin.
can be
What
Irish,
what is your
Italian,
ethnic
you
group?
know.
Real quick, we
I
gotta
come
talk
from
about
the
this.
Melungeon line of the Appalachian Mountains, which was a mixed culture of poor people of all races, white, black, Spanish, Irish, all leaving slavery and segregation and living in the mountains together peacefully. That's where I come from.
Okay, so but you are Caucasian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a Caucasian.
Now,
Okay, and
My
what
great
nation
great
does your family
grandmother
come
was
from?
black, though.
What nation does your family come from? What ethnicity does your family come from?
Don't know.
You don't know
On
your parents' ethnicity? You don't know that?
Nope. As farther as we've gotten back was that we came from the Melungeon line around the 1600s and lived in the mountains all together with all the races.
All right.
Like,
Shout
look
out to
up the
They
cavemen.
don't
Melungeon.
have
All right.
to.
Okay. Cool. Caveman in the chat room. That's what's up.
Okay.
All right. Why are you so triggered? Why are you so offended by this? Why does this bother you so much?
I'm not triggered at all. Everybody else started jumping on me because I said racism is wrong no matter who it's against. White, black, Asian, no matter what, it's wrong. Y'all wanting to act the way y'all do to white people
Who is y'all?
is doing nothing. Hold on, is doing nothing but perpetuating hate even further. Instead of both sides saying, "Hey, the way we're acting is fucking wrong," and both sides need to do
The
better.
language.
Y'all just
hold
want
on,
the
you
white
can't
people
curse.
to do better, and y'all just want to be able to treat white people any way the way y'all want to. It's wrong no matter which way you slice it. We all have to do better.
Okay.
Not
So,
just one
what do you
side.
have?
Okay.
One minute, Kevin.
First off, everybody mute. Everybody. The language. You can't be using profanity. Okay.
My
Okay.
bad. That's just how I talk.
All right.
Afro, didn't Melungeons keep records? Like, what was his ancestors identify? Because he had to go from like current times back. So, what were they identified as? Were they white tea all the way until a certain year? Were they identified as mulatto all the way to a certain year? Like,
I don't
that's
really
what I'm
know,
not
because to be honest
understanding.
with you, I don't really care about the skin tone and where I come from.
No, I didn't
I
say
really don't.
skin tone. I said, what were they identified as? What was their
I don't
racial
know.
classification? This is America.
My
We understand that some
my
things won't be
parents were
racial and
white,
ethnic
but my
here.
great grandma was black.
Okay,
One of my other granddad was Native American. I have all kinds of cultures in my
so
bloodline.
okay, thank you. And but you identify as a white tea person, correct?
I identify as a human being. I don't
Oh
identify anybody by color.
God.
The
Okay.
Okay,
fact
so
that we
sir, the
are,
one
Yes,
drop
the
rule.
okay,
fact that
Hold on,
okay,
people
hold
hold
on,
see
hold
on.
on,
so
hold on.
Everybody
much
Can
can't
I
get
attention
have
to
off.
people's
Let
Everybody
me
races
can't
just
get
is
say
the
off.
this. I
problem.
got you. I got you. The one drop rule was deemed unconstitutional in 1967. I think people really need to catch up. It's 2025. If your parents were
Yes,
white
we
tea,
know
you
about
are
that.
white tea.
Why
We
are
don't need to go further
why are
back.
we
You're
who
complicating
never
things. Thank you.
why are we the people who weren't even born during that time being held accountable for what
Before we
people
go into
other
that,
people
I want to
fucking
get
did
into
just
the
because
skit.
we're the same skin
Kevin,
tone?
before we get into that, let's get into the skit. You said the skit is racist, you know, and racism is bad no matter who does it. Okay, so let me ask you, what is the definition of racism?
Degrading somebody based on their skin tone.
Degrading somebody based
Straight
on their
up.
skin tone is
When
racism.
you belittle, when you perpetuate hate, belittle, jump people, try to hang them from a tree, anything. All of that is racism based on the person's skin tone.
Okay,
You don't
let me
like that person
Kevin,
because they're that color.
Kevin. Okay, first off, Drewski is not doing any of that. Drewski is not pushing hate. Drewski is not doing none of that.
I'm
Okay,
not saying he
this was a
did.
joke. But here's the
I'm
thing, Kevin.
saying, hold on.
Kevin,
I'm saying,
you can't talk over me because the thing is that you're incorrect about the definition of racism. Okay,
no, I'm not.
no,
Y'all want to
yes, you
use
are.
that
Kevin,
whole.
stop
Y'all
it.
want to.
Kevin, stop. Okay, stop colonizing. Stop doing that.
I'm
Okay,
not. All right. Nah, no.
Kevin.
Y'all not gonna try to jump
Okay,
me and
listen,
shit, bro.
Kevin. We don't come
There's
from the
two types
mountains.
of
We're
racism:
civilized over here.
systematic
Kevin, stop it.
racism and racism against the skin. Plain
Kevin.
and simple. Y'all are
Kevin,
just
you're gonna
justifying.
have to let other people
So
speak,
Kevin,
dude.
if
Stop
you want to have
colonizing.
an intellectual dialogue, you actually
Dude,
have to let people speak.
you not.
And if you can't do that, that's an indication that you're not emotionally literate. So if you want people to hear you, then you have to hear them too, because it's an exchange. The very thing that you're preaching on this panel is dignity and an exchange. But if you won't let people land, then you're actually violating the very principles that you're preaching on this stage, because you're not allowing people to finish even though they disagree with you, and that's okay. Disagreement is fine, but you must be dignified in how you treat people even when they disagree with you. And you're not doing that. You're talking over the host of this panel, and he's giving you grace when he doesn't have to. So please be quiet and let him finish, because I want to follow the conversation and I want to be able to respond at some point. So please stop.
Yes. Kevin, your definition of racism is incorrect. Racism is a racial hierarchy, okay? It is a racial power structure. Okay, in this country and really in the world, there's really only one racial power structure. Okay, that is the system of white supremacy, the white supremacy. Okay, that's this system. There is no equivalent to that. Okay, there's no equivalent to the history of them saying that their race, the race that you also are, is superior to all other races, and that have gone around the world and have dominated under the guise of our race of people are superior. There has only been one group of people who have ever done that. That has been the people that you are descended from. So you cannot say that, you cannot erase the context and erase the history from that and say, well, you know what? Let's start on a blank slate and say that everything is everything. You can't do that. Okay, there is no equivalent to this in blackface. Why? Because black people do not have a history of being racist, oppressing, subjugating, harming, disenfranchising non-black people, and especially and particularly white people. We don't have that history. You all are the only ones who have that history. So things are different from you guys doing it, because when you guys do it, number one, it is followed up with harm. It's literally, when y'all do blackface, it's followed up with physical harm. When Druski does this, there's no physical harm. There are no real major consequences to Druski doing something. So the joke, hold on. What makes it different is because when y'all tell jokes, that joke socializes and denigrates a society or a group of people, and then that leads to their subjugation, justification of their subjugation, and it leads to their harm. When we make jokes about white folk, it doesn't lead to harm or justification and rationale of harm of white people. Okay, you're trying to make it seem like there's an equivalent, which, to be very honest, is racist. Okay, because the fact that you're doing that,
I'm not racist. I don't give a fuck what you say, dog.
Stop. You're deliberately trying to dismiss the history and erase the history. All right.
I'm not. What happened is wrong. Can I finish what I'm trying to say? Please. All right. What I'm trying to say, yes, all that shit happened and it was fucking wrong. But white people weren't the only ones to do that. You can look everything I'm about to say up. Let me say all of this and then y'all can eat away at whatever I say, okay? The word slavery or the word slave comes from white people being held as slaves. In the 9th century, the Ottoman Empire, Muslims enslaved a group of white Slavic people, would call them Slav as a slur, which became slave. Alright? That's one. Every single race has been on both sides of slavery. Right now in Africa, there is active slavery going on by black Africans enslaving white and black Africans. Right now in Africa. You can look this shit up. But nobody ever wants to talk about that. Just want to talk about what white people did 400 years ago, which was wrong. But the white people who are alive today and are barely 30, 40 years old had nothing to do with that shit. I grew up in Section 8. I was the only white boy in my complex. Black people is the only people I grew up with. Like, what I'm trying to say is,
Hold
on. Let me finish this.
Hold on for a minute.
A lot of us have no hate in us, and we are being treated like we were the ones who actually did
Now
this
he's
shit.
bringing up Section 8 and how he was the only white T-boy. He does not get to weaponize that one black great-grandparent or tokenize her.
I'm not weaponizing nothing. I'm telling you how I grew up.
Weaponize your one great-grandparent for all night. You've been talking about black people being
So what? My life doesn't count.
Listen, hold on, everybody. There's a room full of people and everybody hasn't spoken yet, and we got to be fair. It's late. We got to be fair to everybody's time. Kevin, we got your point, but I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna move on to the next person. Okay, first off, I don't like the fact that y'all keep saying 400 years ago. Jim Crow wasn't 400 years ago. Okay,
but we still want to allow for that.
Just because the beginning of slavery was at that time doesn't mean that the harm of black people was at that time nor stopped at that time. It still goes on today, and the effects of what you all have done
Not
particularly.
us, white people
Stop
from
it,
the
Kevin.
past. We
Stop
had
it,
nothing
Kevin.
to do with that
Stop, Kevin.
shit.
Stop. Stop.
Relax.
Because what you're trying to do, you do have something to do
Why
with
is
it.
he up so
Because in
upset?
No,
modern
I
day,
don't. Because
everybody
I'm
stop.
a poor
You
white
have
dude from
something
the
to do
hood.
with it
I had
right
something
now.
to do with
Stop it,
fucking
Kevin.
racism.
Stop. All right.
Nah.
No, because
Kevin is
right
triggered.
now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make a false equivalence
I don't want to
of
have a
that,
real
which is to
conversation.
justify it. All
Why
right,
let him
that's
finish?
enough of
Hold
Kevin.
Address
on.
Kevin
Kevin is
so we
not
can
going to
Hold
talk.
on.
colonize
Hold
the
on.
rest of the
Hold
night,
on. Let
y'all.
the
No,
let
no,
the
no,
host
Ravioli.
speak.
Yeah, thank you. Let
He
him.
just
Like,
quit.
what are we talking about?
He about to put his
Can I
girlfriend
just
through the
let me just
Ish,
say?
drywall.
everybody got to mute. Let's let Ish go ahead.
And first of all, BX called it out, right? As she usually does. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Melungeons, right? You have people like Abraham Lincoln, who they say was descended from the Melungeons. But let's talk about the Melungeons for a second. I want to go through his points, and I might be a little long-winded. You can feel free to chime in. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about history, right? Let's really talk about history. First of all, the Melungeons, the predominant element of the Melungeon genealogy was 70% European ancestry. Primarily, their heritage came from English, Scottish, and Portuguese settlers. I don't need to tell y'all why that matters. I fucking don't. But let's go on to the next point. I'm going to try to be quick here. Okay? Try to be very quick. He talked about the Slavs, and while it's very, very true that the term quote-unquote slave came from the Slavs, what he neglected to mention, because he's clearly not fucking researched, excuse me for cussing, is that slavery existed before the 9th century. Slavery existed in the ancient world. We can talk about Mesopotamia. We can talk about Kemet. We can talk about Greece. We can talk about Rome. All of those were eras before the Slavic era of slavery. Those people were not white. Those people were melanated people. The word slave does come from Slav, roughly 9th to 15th centuries. However, okay, the people who were enslaved before that were the people I just mentioned. So let's start there. Another point that I want to raise here, he's talking about, he's essentially trying to framework his argument in reverse racism. This is why it's harmful. And even white and black scholars and scholars across the human diaspora, okay? I say human diaspora, y'all know what I mean, contextually, all agree. Two things. So first, the phrase reverse racism suggests that racism is simply individual hostility between races. This ignores systemic, historical, and institutional racism. It also ignores the social programming of racism, things like media propaganda, things like minstrelsy. Okay? Do you know why that's a problem? Now, when we revert back to Merriam-Webster's definition of racism, Merriam-Webster updated its definition of racism in June of 2020 to include the concept of systemic oppression after being prompted by Kennedy Mitchum, a black American woman who's a college graduate who did her part of her dissertation on this. And they updated and revised the definition to encompass prejudice combined with a social and institutional power. Not just individual prejudice, but institutional power and the ability to extrapolate wealth, livelihood, and to infringe upon the group that the prejudice is directed towards, reflecting a system of advantage based on skin color, phenotype, aesthetic, and caste, including aspects of how institutions and laws reinforce notions of race. And I would like to cite my sources. I'm going to start with the YT sources, and then I'm going to go to the black ones. Okay? Because don't fucking play with my people. Let's go to the YT sources. You have scholars like Dr. David Wellman, who's a decorated sociologist who wrote the book Portraits of White Racism, where he literally says racism is a system of power and privilege that benefits whites maintained through institutions as much as individual behavior. And then Dr. Tim Wise, anti-racism educator and professor, he wrote a book called White Like Me. Claims of reverse racism trivialize real racism. Prejudice against whites may exist, but it doesn't exist without systemic power, and it does not rise to racism. It only rises to prejudice because contextually, racism does not truly function without systemic and institutional power. And of course, we can trace the black scholars, Dr. Beverly Daniel Tatum, Dr. Ibram X. Kennedy, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Chancellor Williams, who wrote The Destruction of the Black Civilization. So stop playing in our fucking faces with the bullshit. The reality is, right, is that you are the product of a people who have had a privilege in this country. Your experience will never be and has never been to the same extent, because even when we're looking at those who descend from the Melungeons, some of those people were a part of the maroon community. Some of them were even a part of the free people of color communities, those quote unquote black people that you're talking about, right? And they were scarce. And those people were still persecuted. So what you will not do is disrespect my people, but what you also will not do is misrepresent history.
It's very true. Very
Bad to
true.
the
Thank you for
bone,
that.
girl.
Can
Man.
y'all tap the screen? We got a lot of people in here. Y'all tap the screen. Okay, this conversation is popping. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. This is an issue because he tries to say, well, you can't blame me for something that happened 400 years ago. But the thing is that there's still society has still put you in a hierarchy. You're still a part of, you benefit from just by birth. You are a beneficiary of a racial hierarchy at birth. Okay, that is it. And now you understand that none of them are slow. Okay, they understand that, and they don't want because that is what the status quo of this country is, really the world. But when we talk about America in particular, that is what the status quo of this country is. And what they want to do is to keep the status quo the same. They want to keep the privilege of their racial category, of the racial hierarchy, intact and solidified. So in order to do that, what you have to do is just explain it. What they try to do is they try to downplay and water down racism and redefine it into people being rude or hostile to other individuals. It's not a system that backs that up. It's not systems in history and context and things in a society that backs it up. It's an individual doing something negative to another individual. Therefore, there can be an equivalent to their racism and a black person being quote unquote racist. Okay. And why they try to I was about to say de-worded, why they try to redefine it is because that allows them to dismiss and hide all of the other systemic things that are what make racism. That is what makes racism. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I have allergies. It's getting a lot better. It's getting a lot better. That's why I've been sipping some tea. That's what he tried to do. So with that right there, oh, I love black people. I grew up around black people and all of that stuff. He's still racist. Okay. Because that's what his actions were. His actions right there were racist. Though that's racist actions. Okay. It was. BX, I know you wanted to say something.
No, I just want everybody to know for some reason everybody didn't get the memo. But at the same time, the United States of Virginia Supreme Court approved interracial marriage. They struck down the Walter Plecker's Racial Integrity Act and also the one drop rule. Those two were deemed unconstitutional. Life goes on, right? But I'm a spiritualist, so I don't say don't honor your ancestors. Whatever ancestors you choose, that's fine. But you do not come in here, say your parents are white tea. I see you all night blaming or saying, well, black people had slaves too. There's still slavery going on by black people in Africa. And then get up here and tokenize your great-grandmother. To me, like, I'm just not going to let y'all do that. That's what he did. When he realized that, oh, well, black people did it too, or black people are doing it too, when he wanted to relate to us, he's going to say, I grew up in the hood, I grew up like this, and I had a black great-great-grandmother or whatever. The hood, his reason for living in the hood is classism. Right? He presents as a white tea boy.
Yes.
His parents are identified as white tea. So he is white tea. Now he can honor his great grandmother all he wants. But when he came in the room, he should have led with my great grandmother was black. Not just go ahead and start saying, well, black people own phase two, and they're still doing it on the continent. First of all, we are not African or Arab. We're not condoning what's going on in Africa. And here we are different. To say black, you're lumping all of us in with what's going on in the continent. We don't have no issue. Well, yeah, we got issues, but we don't have those issues here. So he doesn't get to weaponize blackness at his will, and especially using the one drop rule to somebody like me. Now, if y'all gonna go for that, that's fine. So if I say we're not going that far back, that's what I meant. Because he was weaponizing his great grandmother. And he doesn't get to do that around me. But y'all go ahead and y'all can review anything I say. The 1967 U.S. Supreme Court of Virginia knocked down One Drop Rule and Racial Integrity Act.
Yeah. And this is another thing that they try to do. They like to pull the one drop rule, the like kind of like I'm not fully white card. They do that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, my great grandmother was this, so technically I'm really not all that white. And then what they advocate for what's in the best interest of white people, but then they'll say, hold on, no, I have a great great grandmother and she was black, so I'm not all the way. No, we can't do that, because y'all are trying to, like you said, BX, tokenize and use your black ancestry or your non-white ancestry as some type of shield and cover, so you can spew a whole bunch of propaganda on behalf of white people and then hide behind not fully being white. That's what they try to do.
And that's really because whiteness is a psychosis, right? When we're going beyond it being a racial classification, because race is social, it's not genetic, it's not biological, it's not bioarchaeological. Okay? You cannot trace it through the bones, you cannot trace it through the genealogy, but you can trace it through sociology and social programming, which means that it is a concept that is not a natural concept. Ethnicity is. And that's not based on skin complexion. We had, YT passing people who very much were integrated in their blackness. These people came from free communities of color. These people came from Louisiana Creoles and so on and so forth. And so skin complexion has never been a qualifier or a prerequisite for blackness. They know that, and this is where the antithesis lies. It's whiteness is a psychosis. The fact that you would come on a panel full of black American people and say, I was on food stamps and I was on government programs. Of course you were, because most of the people on food stamps and government programs are white people. So of course you were. That's not a surprise to us, right? And most of the people who benefited from affirmative action were YT women. Most of the teachers in this country are YT women, right? We all know about the sons and daughters of the Confederacy, so that doesn't mean shit to me. Are you raised in the culture? Do you have cultural values? Do you vibrate? Is your essence that of Black America? If it's not, I don't give a fuck. And this is why when you have people like Brother Tariq, when he was talking about Drake, and people didn't get it. People thought he was saying, oh, there's this separation because he has a certain aesthetic or because of whatever. That's not what he was saying. He was diving deeper into the perspective that two things. One, coonery, right? It's not regulated to a skin complexion. It's regulated to a psychosis, to your mindset. Yeah, he has a FBA father, but he grew up in Canada with a small hat mother and walked around in blackface with his YT friends and has been predatorial, and in addition to that has denigrated the culture, not just Black American music culture, but Black American culture in general. So we're talking about somebody who, it's not the issue of him being bi-ethnic or biracial, it's the issue of his perspective. It's the issue of his psychosis. He is riddled with an ideology and a psychosis that separates him from the culture, and then he uses his platform to capitalize on that to further try to embarrass our people. He buys into media propaganda. He buys into minstrelsy. He buys into the harmful characterization of Black American people. And you don't have to be bi-ethnic or biracial. You can be a full-blooded, quote-unquote, FBA. And I do identify as foundational Black American. I am a foundational Black American. I use all the nomenclatures, all of them. But in context, this nomenclature, we can look at people like Clybourne. We can look at people like Clarence Thomas. We can look at people like, some of the elements of Thomas Sowell and the philosophies of Thomas Sowell, and why, racists love to use him as a talking point to denigrate and gaslight black people. And it's because of their conduct. It's not because of their connection to the lineage. Your connection to the lineage doesn't mean anything if you are the antithesis of helping our people, of aiding our people, of empowering our people, right? So that doesn't matter. What matters is, what do you do? What are you doing? How are you helping? How are you aiding? Because here's the thing, in 400 years, yeah, we can talk about the YT people 400 years ago, and it was 400 years ago, but let me tell you something. I was 28 years old when my great-grandmother passed, and my great-grandmother was a sharecropper, and I am a direct descendant of the people born in Natchez, Mississippi in the Devil's Punch Bowl. And I want to tell you, okay, and you all, I don't have to tell the black Americans in the room, but for the rest of y'all, right, understand that is vibrational, and there's an essence associated with that. And when you understand that, it forms your conduct and how you empower and enrich your people. You understand that in 400 years, even though our people have thrived and survived and created all these incredible things, we are still in an ethnocide. We are still being attacked. We are still being harmed. And these are the vestiges of chattel slavery. So slavery didn't end, right? It became covert. It changed its form. It evolved meticulously to respond in a way in how black people had to evolve. And the great thing about this is that white supremacy, systemic oppression, and racism cannot catch up to black liberation, freedom, and evolution. This is how we have been able to continue to survive. But we still have the same talking points. I mean, 400 years ago, people were talking about, well, I was oppressed too, and the Irish were enslaved too, and the Chinese were enslaved too, and none of those things are true. But it goes back to that history of minstrelsy, of gaslighting black people, gaslighting the history, being intellectually lazy because of your conviction bias. You care about what makes you feel good. You don't care about being righteous. You care about being right. And those are not the same things.
Yes, my sister. This chick, I gotta take my hat off. And this is why I love you, Afro Elite. I love the dialogue that you have, and you allow everybody to get what they have to say out. And plus, another thing, it's a false equivalency. You tell me about slavery all over the world, and what they don't realize, the real fight is not with us. It's social economics, like BX said. Now, I'm just gonna read a quote from LBJ. Said, if you can convince the lowest YT man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you picking his pocket. Hell, he'll give somebody to look. If you give him somebody to look down on, he'll empty his pockets for you. And did you hear the animosity behind his tone? First, he presented his straw man, right? Context, and then he went on, and what did the comedian say? That was a waste of some good white tea skin. But what they don't understand, your dislike of me doesn't change anything, but you keep voting against your own best interest. You're cutting your nose off, what? To spite your face. It's about social economics, and that's where the resentment comes. And I love how the sister before me, how she put it into context, and not only that, it's narcissistic and it's ego driven. As long as I feel like I'm better than you, or I can give you this false equivalency of slavery here and there, I'm not directly tied to it. But yes, you are, because 400 years of slavery, but 150 years of Jim Crow. Now we got his baby, Jim Crow Esquire. Things have not changed as much. But I want to say I love this conversation. Keep it going. Excellent. My hat's off to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get to some of the new speakers here. Let's start off with M Joe. How do you say your name? M Joe Bro.
It's a job bro.
Yeah, I don't. It looked like a bunch of random letters almost.
Hi, Halo.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to sit back and listen some more. I'm pretty new to the conversation, and I'm trying to hear what you guys are talking about.
Okay.
So
Well,
are you a YT person?
What? Where are you from? Where are you from?
I mean, I'm from Ohio, and I grew up in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So, and now I'm currently back in Ohio.
Okay, all right. You're a white man, correct?
Absolutely, and
Okay,
yes, I
okay.
am.
All right. Now, how long you've been listening for a little bit? You've been listening for a little bit, right? And you requested
About
to come up. So far,
about.
based off of what you heard, what do you think of what you heard so far?
I mean, I'm not going to respond too much. It sounds like to me, being a white person, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people hating on the white man. And that's just my opinion. So again, I just like to sit back and
Well,
hear
but no,
y'all.
no, no. Because the thing is, don't just say it and then say I want to sit back and listen. Why do you
Okay,
feel
well,
like somebody is
I'll
quote
sit here
unquote hating
and
on
have a
you?
conversation all day long. Again, I was just trying to sit back and hear
Well,
and
you, sir,
take
you
in
clearly,
what you guys
clearly, you
have.
were not trying to just sit back and listen. You requested to
What?
speak.
No, I didn't request to speak.
You did.
I,
That's why I let you up.
okay, well, here, put me on the back burner and then let me come back
I'm
up
gifted
when,
under
when
Shavu's
I feel
page.
like it's time for me to speak.
Can you give us an example of something that you've heard tonight that was hateful, please?
I haven't heard that much. I've only been on
You
here two or
use you
three
use the
minutes.
term that you heard things that were hateful, and I want you to qualify that statement with something that you heard, because telling the truth about history is not hateful. So and that's
I'm
what's
not.
been happening in this life. So I want to ask you, what is it that you've heard that would lead you to say that things were hateful? Because I didn't hear anything about, I didn't hear any slurs, I didn't hear any pejoratives about your people. So I want to know, what did you hear that that made you think that it was hateful? Right? That's a very serious allegation that people make, and usually it's a deflection. And I just want to know what it is that you heard specifically, so that we can dissect that, because you should be able to substantiate that. If you heard something and it was hateful, that's a serious emotion. That's a serious,
Okay,
right,
well, let
accusation.
me
So you should be
retract
able to
that.
quantify that. Excuse me. You should be able to quantify that, because there was something that you heard that took you there. So you should be able to tell us and clarify that, right? So please do.
Okay, let me retract my hatefulness to.
Oh, so it wasn't hateful. Okay. So then what was it? If it
If
wasn't hateful, what
racism
was
is
it
what
then?
you guys are,
Okay, okay,
you're hating
okay.
on the fucking
What is
white man.
what have we said thus far this evening that has been racist towards white
I
people?
mean, you guys are hating on the white person.
Okay,
Period.
you can't. No, stop. I can
Everything that
tell
you've
you're old.
said,
Listen,
everything
you
that
no,
you've
hold on.
said.
Listen, everything we've said. Say something. Say exactly what has been said that is racist or hateful. Okay, don't just say everything. What I've heard. Stop doing that. Okay, you are grown enough to regurgitate what you've heard. What have you heard that has been either racist or hateful? Don't just say everything. Say exactly what was said. Now he don't want to speak because I didn't mute him.
I'm gifted under
Okay.
Shavu's page.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to. If you don't want to say anything, he just upset. So it is what it is. Then.
Oh man.
Say something, or is everybody else
Yeah. Go
talking?
ahead. Go ahead, Halo, and then we'll
I
get to
wanted to say
Goddess.
something. Well, as a white tea man, I think that to say that we hating on them and not, no, we're holding you accountable, honestly. And the fact that some of them was mad, because not all of them was mad about that. I seen some white tea people laughing about it, but for them to even be mad about that, like, just shows how. Did you not know that y'all started blackface first? I mean, blackface has a history behind it, but white tea face don't. And you can't get a taste of your own medicine to see how it feels. Like, you can do all this, your people can do all this to other people, but nothing can happen to you. That's crazy to me. You don't see how your people go around and claim things that don't belong to them, steal things from other countries, and then not to mention they give America a bad name because how they treat other countries and going to other countries, and then people when we arguing with other countries, they throw that back up in our face because of how you going around treating people. And then you got the nerve to sit up here and talk about we. Last I checked, you're the one with the hate group. You're running around here with a hate group that still exists to this day. Show me a black American with a hate group running around here, hating people because of their skin color. Show me one. You can't show me that. You need to be held accountable. Take the accountability for what your people have done over the years. And if you don't like what your people have done, don't sit up here and make excuses for them because you know what they have done. Period. But do you want to say somebody's a victim? No, because they want to hold you accountable. No, you do have victims under your belt, and you need to acknowledge the victims that you have under your belt, and you need to acknowledge that and stop trying to run from the fact that your people has caused a lot of things around the world and got us Americans looking real bad because of it. And then you think you don't owe nobody nothing. So you don't think that your ancestors that went in our land and when we was minding our business in our communities and went to our communities and destroyed our communities because they were jealous that we were outdoing them. You don't think that you owe because of that? I mean, to this day, we would still be benefiting off the Black Wall streets that we built. But that now that your people went in there and destroyed it, we got to sit up here and figure out how we're going to build from the ground up with a little bit of nothing because you people want to come in and destroy it. And then you want to get on here and say, I didn't do it. Well, your ancestors did it. And you still eating off your ancestors. And just like you finna pay for what your ancestors did. You're eating off your ancestors right now from the backs of our people. So what makes you think that you don't owe nothing? What makes you think you don't owe nothing to people? You sit around here, you have the skin of privilege around here. And if what you choose to do with your skin of privilege, if you choose to get on hard rugs, that's your fault. If you choose to live your life, because you have plenty of opportunities as a white tea man, especially, you have more opportunities than anybody around the world. You can walk up into an Asian shop, and I'm pretty sure and pull a job just like that. But you sit up here and you want to act like you the victim. You ain't no victim. Because this man put this white tea face on. It's a taste of your own damn medicine. And you need to take it for what it is and acknowledge it for what it is. Don't sit up here and say we hating on you. You hated on a lot of people. And you need to acknowledge what you've done to a lot of people.
Yep. Everybody, let's tap the screen. We got over 300 people. Okay. Middle of the night. Everybody, let's tap the screen. Everybody, we can get over 100K likes in the next couple minutes if everybody tap the screen. Yeah, that's very correct. That's 100% correct. A lot of times, and I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna get to Goddess. A lot of times they'll say, "Well, hold on, I can't be held accountable for something that I didn't do. That was 400 years ago. I had nothing to do with that." But the thing is that what they did created a society where your race of people are pedestalized and on the top of a racial hierarchy. Okay, and you want it to stay that way. That's the thing. So you might not have done exactly what they're doing, but you're trying to keep it going further by keeping it that way. That's the point. And every time somebody like us says something about it or tries to hold y'all accountable, here you go playing defense. If y'all quote unquote don't want to be associated with what your ancestors did, y'all do a lot of defending of that. Anytime we try to hold anybody accountable or try to get some type of restitution and reparations for it, here y'all come running defense because y'all want the status quo to remain the same. So you guys are exactly like your ancestors. Okay, because you're defending the system that they built. They built it, you like it, and you're defending it. So you're exactly the same. Let's get to Goddess. You got it.
Hey y'all. I have a few things to say because, like he said, they kept trying to go back in time. They keep trying to say, "Oh, it happened 400 years ago." But my grandfather, who is from Mississippi, had to flee from the South because he was trying to get killed by white people. Because of him.
You can't say the K word.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's not like the way that people try to dim it
Unalive, not the
down.
K word.
But you got
Sorry.
it. You got it. You got it.
The way that people try to dimmy it down, what happened, time doesn't change the fact that it's still benefiting one group. Our group are still struggling to survive, struggling to keep a job. We have how many women got fired from their jobs? Like, it's so many things that come into play. And it's just like a skit of them getting, like you said, Halo, a taste of their own medicine is making them so upset, so furious, where they feel like they're being attacked and that they're being oppressed. They want to use the words that we use on them whenever we're telling the truth. We have facts behind the things that we're saying, years and years, and now they're trying to take away everything and say that all this information is no longer relevant and that they have to get rid of it out of these museums. Like, we have to really talk about it. When will we be able to talk about it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have too much to say. I feel like everybody is saying it correctly. And I just want to say I really appreciate this live because it needs to be talked about, because it's not okay. It's not okay to get mad because every time that something is said that you guys don't agree with, you automatically go to racism. And it's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
So
And they could never articulate what is racist. We asked him and gave him several chances to articulate what was hateful and racist. Now he came in there. Now he's in the chat room. He's trolling in the chat room. DEI hire, which, and this is how you know DEI means black just by default. Okay, he doesn't know what we do, what our occupation is, what our job is, anything like that. To them, DEI is a racial slur. Okay, it's another way of saying the N word. It's an update of, it's a racial epithet. Okay, that's what it is. That's what DEI means when they say it. All right. And the thing is that when he's up here, he didn't have anything to say. He did. We literally said, "Hey, what do you mean?" He didn't have nothing to say, nothing at all. And exactly, Deborah, most DEI hires are white women. Most of these government assistance beneficiaries are their people, their community. Okay, whether that's affirmative action, whether that's DEI, whether that's government assistance, they're the ones who are consistently needing the handout. They're the ones who are consistently needing the government to come save them and to help them. They're the people who are really helpless, if we're going to be honest. But they found some way to, well, not found some way, because the media and the society works along with them, to put the stigma on that on us. They put the stigma on that on us. Okay.
it's the victim complex. That's what it is.
Like a couple Africans in the comments defending the white tea people. I want y'all to see that. I want y'all to see that. We have some Africans in the comments defending the white tea people. Like we said.
Somebody said.
See who loves them.
Oh, somebody. Yeah. Okay. He said,
That's
put
what
him in the
they
box.
have
No,
to
you had
go.
your chance, and we're not gonna be on here all night. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And we're not gonna. This isn't supposed to be an all nighter. You had your chance. You said you wanted to listen, but you said we was hating on you. Then you took it back. Then you said we being racist. Then you didn't say anything. You didn't expound on that. And we don't have all night. You do not have the privilege in this room. No. So that's it's over with. That's over. We done.
Scoobs
We
is
done.
down there too, sir. Scoobs is down there. And affirmative action, it just bites me. I'm sorry, it does. You act like those were set aside for, we were qualified. In fact, more qualified. I remember my dad, who started working for IBM in 1964, always said he had to be 10 times better, and he was smarter than his boss and his boss's boss, but he could never allow them to see that, right? We always had to be 10, 20 times better than the white tea people. And then they got the nerve to talk about affirmative action. No, you were righting the wrongs. And the problem is now you realize you really can't compete. Mediocre people with mediocre brains and lives, you can't compete against us. That's why you had 400-year head start, and some of you are still lacking. That's a shame.
So true.
Yep. Let's get to perk, and then we'll get to foundational, and then we'll start getting people's final thoughts on the subject and wrap things up.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why is it that we fought for equality, but now we don't want equality?
Okay, well, before I answer your question, where are you from? Where are your people from?
Mississippi.
So you're a foundational Black American, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So elaborate on your question. You said now we don't want equality. What do you mean? How do you figure that
Like
we don't want
from what I'm hearing is you ain't forgave them. You know, I think forgiveness is the best thing that we can do as black people.
Okay, hold
Fighting
on.
ain't
You
gonna
feel like
change nothing.
you feel like forgiveness is equality?
Yes,
Do you
forgiveness.
think that forgiveness is equality?
I read the Bible a lot,
Hold on,
and
brother. Let me ask you a question because you
We
came
could
up and
tell. We
said
could
one
tell.
thing and then you said a totally different thing. So you're saying equality, you started the conversation off saying that we don't want equality. You're saying equality, you started the conversation off saying that we don't want equality. Now you're saying forgiveness. Forgiveness and equality are not the same thing. So what do you want? You want equality or you want to forgive them?
I want y'all to forgive them.
You want us to forgive them. So you don't
Yes,
want equality. You don't want you don't want equality?
it sounds like that's not what y'all want.
No, I'm asking
From
what you
what I
want.
heard from
I'm
Deborah and
asking
Halo, it
what you
sounds
want.
like
I'm
y'all are
asking what you
angry.
want. Do you want equality?
Yes,
And
but
you feel
my
like
my
the only
people
way to
do
get
not want
equality,
equality.
okay, hold on. You feel like the only way to get equality is to forgive them?
Yes,
So you feel like after, now let me ask you this, after we forgive them, we'll have equality.
you can't. Just like Brian just said, you blaming people that had nothing
No,
to
no,
do
no, no,
with
no, no, no.
slavery.
I'm asking you a question. Do you feel like it, because you feel like we need to strive for equality? So you feel like after we forgive them for all of the things that they've done to our community, if the entire Black community said, you know what, we forgive you, and we're gonna let that go, do you feel like we'll be equal then?
I feel like it would be better.
No, you want equality or you want better? Okay, because you're not even. Come on.
Yeah, my people ain't got no hope.
No, I'm
Trying to
asking
get
you
down
what
off
you
the
want.
field.
If not, look,
Now
my
he
people ain't
fled.
got no hope. He left.
Now he
I'm
fled.
asking him, and this is the thing. I'm asking him what exactly he wants. He doesn't want equality. He doesn't want that. He wants us to ease up off of the white man. That's what he wants. He can't even elaborate what he's saying we're not doing. Before any of y'all ass kissing massa lovers come up here and talk about what we're not doing, get your thoughts together first. He
Right,
didn't even have his thoughts together. He's using different one word. He's
right.
one sentence. He's using this. The next sentence he's using this. He sounds half asleep. He doesn't even know what he. I'm asking him what
Whoa,
he want. He can't even tell me.
right.
That's crazy.
I
He
want to
had
say,
nothing.
can I say something about what he
He
just
really
said?
had nothing he really had nothing to say. And I'll speak for Halo and myself. We're not angry. Don't put that angry black woman trope
Right.
on us. No, it's called passion, baby.
First of all, if you think equal, like we're gonna forgive them and not get nothing first, you're out your mind. If they want forgiveness, then they need to give whatever they took from my people back, and then we can talk about forgiveness. Now we could just talk about it, but I don't know about because you never know what these people will do. But you sitting up here with this Christian mindset, brainwashed mindset, that look, you talking about that religion they threw to you in slavery, that you're gonna come up here and tell us that you're a Christian and we need to forgive them. That's what your white tea Bible told you to do. We're not doing that until you give me back what belongs to us. Until you give us back what belongs to us, then we're gonna forever stand on your necks, just like you went into our communities and burnt it down. And just like you got the whole triple K still exists to this day. To this point, I don't know what's wrong with these Sambos out here.
You know what's funny is that when people use the concept of, and after we say this, we'll get to foundational, because a lot of people want to come up, but we don't really have a lot of time. You know,
I'm a
I gotta
theologian.
work.
The
But I'm
Bible
gonna say
doesn't say
this: when
that.
people use Christianity to quote
Right.
unquote defend them and be passive, people use religion just to make them more of what they are. Honestly, okay, that's at the end of the day. People, if you're a Christian who wants to be passive, you'll just use the Bible
Right.
to justify and rationalize being passive. If you're a Christian and you want justice, you'll use the Bible to justify your pursuit of justice, because the Bible, if he wants to go there, talks about reparations. Now you want to talk about I'm a Christian and I study the Bible and stuff like that. these are the people who are refusing to give us reparations. Okay, if we're going to use the Bible, if we're going to use the Bible according to the Bible, they should be giving us reparations, right? But you're not going to use that part, right? Are you? Okay.
No, okay,
Foundation. Hold
let
on.
me say
Let's
this.
let
I want to say
foundational
this
go
right
ahead.
quick. It's not, that's, I'm a theologian. That is not true. And the Abrahamic law says an eye for an eye. You slap me, I punch you. And the Bible says unequivocally about reparations. He's using that. I can forgive you, but I'm not going to forget, and you still got to pay me.
Now, all right.
Exactly.
Foundational, you got it.
All right, peace. So the one thing that I don't like is see, I call out just like I call out the immigrant class. I'm definitely going to call out the Sambos too within our community, right? Notice that he didn't wag his finger at the gentleman that said DEI hire. He didn't wag his finger at when a gentleman said all the degenerate things in the comments, right? After he came on the panel, scared to death, cowered down, didn't have the balls or the bravery to even talk to us like a man or a woman on a panel, but then go in the comments and start saying the wild racist, degenerate things. But you notice he didn't catch none of that stuff. But the first thing he wanted to do is kumbaya, forgive and forget. See, this is the problem, right? We have a lot of people that like they utilize the Bible, not understanding the Bible. In the Bible, the God of the Bible also said to unallow some tribes, unallow some people in the Bible. He was telling some of his prophets to unallow some people in the Bible. So there's a lot of different things in there also. Let's be clear, right? We can't always look at the forgive and forget. This is the problem. We've been on some kumbaya. The church have been making us docile, turn the other cheek, and we've been turning the other cheek for the last 65 years. Right? We've been turning the other cheek for the last. We have no more cheeks to turn. We turned the left cheek. We turned the right cheek. Gave our ass cheek to kiss, and we got enough cheeks we've been utilizing for the last 65 years. It's time to start saying, okay, there's a problem. Now, calling out a problem doesn't mean nobody hate nobody. It doesn't mean anything, because right, nobody. I don't see them saying both coming up when we going against the immigrant class. Yo, we gotta come on, y'all. We gotta forgive them. No, you guys have full energy. I keep the same energy, whether it's the immigrant class or whether it is a white. I don't care who it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when it come down to it, what we gotta understand is that when they still going, and when the fraternity, I forgot the name, I think it's called Fearless Fund, when they came together and said, okay, we're gonna forgive, we're gonna do our own thing, and have an all woman Fearless Fund where we utilize our own money, not even taxpayer money, our own money to build something so we can have our own businesses. What did they do? Did they forgive and say, we're going to leave them alone to their own vices and leave it? No. They went, sued. They went and sued, and then demolished and destroyed what they have going on, right? And look, what did they forgive and forget when they were affirmative action? No. Even though it don't benefit us, they went out their way to find ways because they couldn't do it as a YT person, so they utilized the immigrant class to usurp and undermine us with the affirmative action. Right, so you can say forgive all you want, but when you're constantly getting undermined, it got to be a point in time where you can stop being the carpet. If you want to be the carpet where people can walk all over you, cool. I'm not a carpet. I got a spine. I have self dignity, respect, and self worth, and I refuse to be a carpet for anyone. I don't care if it's the immigrant class, YT, or anyone. We can address the same way we address anyone else. We can address with the same energy. Y'all got to stop with this soft and sweet. When y'all start seeing the YT person, y'all start bucking down and bucking your knees. I don't know what that's weird to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna really land on that. That just took me off. That really threw me off a little bit. I was actually coming after the other gentleman, but I had to come after the Sambo. I'm sorry. That was crazy.
I know. My people will never be free. So our freedom. Didn't notice he said that and then he left. And before I say what I gotta say, y'all, come on. We're so close to getting 100,000 likes. We're like right here. We're right here. But my people will never be free. He said that and then he left. That's cowardly, first off. And so our freedom depends on us forgiving them. So we're the problem now. Now we are the problem. Okay. So the problem is not them subjugating and oppressing and maintaining. This is why I've been saying this the whole life. They're here in modern times because he's like, oh, well, we got to forgive and we can't be bringing up the past. Even if we want to stop that, we can't solve the problems today. We're not talking about the past just because we want to talk about history. We're talking about the past because that is relevant to our situation today. The past is relevant to today. So in order to fix, and after this, we're not going to let anybody else up on the panel because we're going to wrap things up. Okay.
I'll drop them down if you want me to. My bad. I
No,
brought them up. I'll drop
they're
them.
up here now. So, the past is relevant today. So, in order to fix the problem today, you have to acknowledge the past. If they don't want to solve the problem today, if they don't want to change anything today, they're not sorry. All right, we're bringing up the past because that's how you solve an issue. That's how you solve an issue. Okay, you have to acknowledge that. And the fact that they keep trying to dismiss, undermine, and downplay the history of this country and of our people means that they want to keep the system intact. The system that their ancestors inherited to them, they want to keep that strong and intact. So that makes them the same. Okay? It's not up to them to talk about forgiving. What logic does it make to forgive somebody who's not sorry? Is that logical? To forgive somebody who's continuously doing that, who sees no wrong in their actions. You see the wrong in their actions, but they don't see the wrong in their actions. Just the man who was up here says sorry for nothing. The white man who was just up here, he says he's sorry for nothing. They're not sorry. They're not sorry. They're not. So what? So forgive them for what? No, we're not doing that. We'll get to cars. Okay, you really like cars.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Where are you from? First off, where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Are you a white woman? Are you a black woman? Or
I'm black.
okay, okay. I just gotta ask. I don't know. Okay. What do you have to say about the prompt?
The whole Drewski thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's insane. It's just crazy because there's so many instances like with the whole blackface thing, and even the worst part is they even still do it like to this day, but it's very like sly. The whole like unnecessarily dark tanning. To the point where it's just like so brown, where it's obviously like sometimes you can't even tell like in their profile picture if like they're white or black until you actually like go through their profiles. But they'll be like, oh, when you try to bring it up, they'll be like, oh, it's not it's not to look like you, it's just to be more bronze or whatever. But then you see they also have like the lip filler and all of that. And I feel like it's crazy how they've just been doing this stuff for so long. They want all the features and everything, but they just refuse to admit. And it's not very hard to admit. I don't know if it's out of embarrassment or what it is, fatigue with the entire situation, but like we're all tired. So just do better,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a modern day blackface thing that they got going on. Well, they'll wear like makeup that's like 4 or 5 shades darker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they'll do the makeup and the design that kind of gives them the phenotype of a black woman. They'll have the acrylic nails and the earrings, and then they'll braid their hair, and you won't be able to tell off of a picture or whatever.
And I'm also seeing, sorry, not to cut you
rag
off,
or
but
whatever the case may be. So
I'm also
there's
seeing
a
someone in
modern
the
day
comments
blackface that they still do.
going, oh, but black women wear blonde hair. And my thing with that is like, they love to bring this up, but black women are not the only people that are wearing blonde hair. Blonde hair is something that is a high fashion statement, in vogue. Countless times, that is where the trend has come from. Asian girls are doing it. Hispanic girls are doing it. But for some reason, when a black woman dyes their hair or wears extensions or whatever the case may be, it's a huge issue. And it's not even the equivalent of literally like compartmentalizing certain features and using it for your own. If black people went around and started, like just finding some way to chink our eyes on purpose, it would be a huge issue. We don't do that. We stay to ourselves, But it's
can we
really
be
just
clear
like
about
trying to find reasons to say something. It's crazy.
And can we be clear about something, that the blonde hair doesn't come from YT? That our blonde hair come from us. If you look at the people of the Solomon Islands, the people of that area, they all have blonde hair, right? So it's nothing that originated from them, because again, no disrespect, just on the science level, they are new people. They only came around 15,000 years ago, or I think like 15,000 years ago. With the mutation is SLC 45A2, SLC 24A5. And that is a new. And then for the the lighter, the darker with the sun change, that's A111T, right? And so when they say, "Oh, y'all get that from us," not really. We kind of been on this earth longer.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
Blonde hair and green eyes and red hair and blue eyes originates in Africa. They have tribes that naturally have it. They're there to see. And the Khoisan people are the progenitors of the Asian people, right? With the eyes and all that. They like to say that I can wear whatever color hair I want to wear. Considering I can throw a blonde hair, blue eyed baby, or they could be black as the ace of spades. We can have any color we want. So that, to me, that's a straw man's conversation. And most white tea women are not blonde, but they're bleaching, aren't they? So why are they doing that? And I said, do the rugs match the carpet? And if you match the drapes, and if you know, you know. When I say that, you'll know, you know. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think this would be good though. This was pretty good live. We got over 100,000 likes here. So that's been pretty good so far. You know what I'm saying? And to wrap things up, I will say this. First off, we did some good straightening, got some good education. So thank you guys for that. Appreciate you guys for all of the likes, the gifts, and all of that stuff. Thank you. Okay, you guys need to follow so that way when we have these conversations, which we do regularly, when we have these conversations, you guys don't miss out on any of that stuff. I would have liked to get to everybody, but unfortunately, I can't get to everybody. So we're just gonna, maybe talk about this another time if it's relevant any bit. But I saw this, I was all like, nah, we're not gonna sit up here and make it seem like the equivalent of blackface is being done right here. That's just not the case.
Also, too, really quick, if I might add, it's not really just like like, for example, even with like, oh, like a white guy or white girl getting braids, it's not really just that it's the problem, but what's the root of the problem is like, oh, like discriminating and saying, oh, like you're bald or your hair doesn't look good for so long, and then coming back and using the exact same styles and making it fashion. Like, oh, it's just fashion, like that hurts. And it's not that we're trying to like remove white people and saying like, oh, you can't do this, you can't be in our culture. But like when we're getting pushed down so much for just being authentically ourselves and, staying true to our culture, it doesn't make sense for them to then go back and use the same things and make it as light as fashion,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We might be able to talk about that and just like anti-black racism within the fashion industry and within different stereotypes. It's bad for us, but it's cool for them. I'm not gonna put you in, Mr. White Man. I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's been it. Okay, it's time for us to go. We have things we have to do. No, I'm not gonna put you in. Stop asking. We have things we have to do. It's not the
To be
equivalent.
around
It's
us.
not the equivalent. No. Now, he's triggered. He is triggered right now. No,
He is
he missed
triggered
his
because
chance.
he
He
realized he
missed his
cowered
chance.
down. That's why you know what it is, Afro. He realized he cowered down like a coward when we addressed him like a man, and he started and start stuttering and all that. When we started addressing him, like he got that warrior energy, and then he went to the comments. So that's what that is. So now he got to kind of make up, but it's over.
Yeah, and he gonna be tossing and turning the whole night, and that's fine with me.
But this is the reason why I asked him the clarifying question of if something triggered you so much so that you could call it racist or you could call it hateful, you should be able to identify that readily and be able to tell people what specifically it was that triggered you that was quote unquote racist or that was quote unquote hateful. And when he was asked several times, he couldn't do that because this is not about him hearing something that is racist or something that is hateful. This is about him hearing something that does not confirm his conviction bias and his narrative. And this is why I said that whiteness is a psychosis. It is a delusion that you epigenetically, generationally, historically live in, which allows you a certain level of privilege, both psychologically and intellectually, um, and the ability to exert that privilege onto other people and their intellect, invalidating facts, invalidating information, invalidating truths because they don't fit your narrative. And this is when the very basic understanding of truth and truth speaking and truth seeking becomes colonized by whiteness, by the psychosis that is whiteness. In because I'm white, I have to be right, and anything that challenges what I say is wrong. Instead of really thinking objectively and contextually, metaphorically, allegorically about what's being said, and then tracing that to tangible substantiation. And that's the point here. This country was built on many different things. And one of the things that this country was built on is the ability and the understanding that when you say something, right? And I'm talking about black people, right? I'm not talking about all the other shit. I'm talking about black people. When you say something or you claim something, the ability to actually be able to tangibly substantiate what you're saying, you have to be able to prove what you're saying, right? And so that was the clarifying question. How can you prove or substantiate this claim that what you heard was hateful or racist or was whatever? And he could not answer that. So what intellectual conversation could we really hope to have with someone like that who doesn't even have the intellectual competence to be able to label what it is that he's claiming? You don't, because what you're claiming is just feelings. You want your feelings to be facts, and feelings are not facts. Facts are facts.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. No more I'm white and I say so. We're done with that. It's over with. All right. If you guys want to listen to the playback of this live, go to For the Culture on YouTube. That's For the Culture. You get to listen to that and a lot of great other lives and good other content that we have over there. Follow me and you guys will be able to listen to the next time we go live on TikTok. Also, I can have a YouTube channel and you can follow me and you guys can watch me live on YouTube. The link is in bio. Okay, so that's For the Culture on YouTube, Afro Lead on YouTube. Link is in bio. Y'all make sure y'all follow. BX, can you please close us out? And
Sure.
we'll be gone.
I just want to say this about blonde hair. I read once that not even all white tea women have blonde hair, right? So they pretty much bleach their hair blonde. That's just a little tidbit for y'all that either brunettes, and I think red may be rare too. But anyway, Afro, I gotta ask you, when's the next time you coming live on TikTok?
I'm not not sure. Maybe tomorrow in the day would have to be kind of earlier in the day, depending on because I'm busy tomorrow. So it depends on when I get certain things handled. But you know what I'm saying. It would be maybe around 12-ish.
Okay, no problem. Just let me know. Tonight was a very good live. I didn't really see the Druski skit, but it turned out to be a very good conversational piece, and some people were actually triggered. I'll leave it at that, and because y'all already know how I feel about it. You don't get to weaponize your one great grandparent who may have been black. Meanwhile, you were blaming other, saying black people did it too. So that was good. And also, I would like to acknowledge Brother Foundational's statement of this is for the Africans who think we do not go at white tea people. We got smoke for everybody, babe. We are FBA. We are over 43 million strong. And when you have an issue with us or come for us, or you just being downright diminishing and hateful to my lineage and my ancestors, we were ours. We're going to go at y'all. And on that note, I would like to say peace, love, light, and reparations to foundational Black Americans. Reparations is a debt-old. Reparations has 5 pillars. So around us, you don't have to mention restitution. We want it all, every pillar, because restitution is one. Who wants land without money? How we going to get the resource? The seeds, the stuff to till the land. So, yeah, I don't like that statement. They were they were commenting that in the chat. I'm like, oh
They
god.
are still bothered in this chat. All
Oh
these
yeah, they
comments are
triggered.
wild.
Drewski got him triggered. Now we got him triggered. They triggered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if you notice there in the comments, they won't come up, and qualify or quantify what they have to say. I said it, I'll say it again. You can't compete where you don't compare. Or you can't compare where you don't compete. However it is. They couldn't deal with this smoke up here. So they're in the comments, typing away behind their keyboards. But I know this one thing, they wouldn't say it to our faces, would they?
Oh no,
Oh
not at
no,
all.
no.
Not at
Oh,
all.
but wait. If it's white tea, they need a mob. You know how
Right.
they do.
Not
Okay.
one on one. It has to be a group. It has to be a group effort. So I tell you how powerful we are. It don't take. You can't take me one on one. You got to bring 10 others. And intellectually, I'm telling you, I don't know why that sister was bad to the bone. But he couldn't compete with any of us. Hey, BX, Halo, any of them. I don't know you. Just I'm not mentioning your name. Believe it on my heart. I love me some Afro Elite, and I didn't like how he was disrespecting you. I didn't appreciate that at all. Just want to put that in there. Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
I'll
night.
land there.
Good
Good
night.
night. Everybody
Love
have a
you,
good night.
BX.
Good
Bye
You
bye.
too.
night.
You're welcome. Good night, y'all.
Bye bye. Good
Nah,
night.
thank you, y'all. I came late, but thank you. Peace.
Peace.